This is the part about the Aprilia that you love. Bike absolutely loves to take a corner. Just a remarkably stable bike in the curves. I like all the bikes that I own, hence why I purchased them, but this is just on another level. And I think this is the bike that set me up for the 1000, you know. Getting ready to hit this 2-year anniversary of riding. And, you know, I can just feel things ratcheting up a little bit. Love the power. You know, and I got no intentions of doing anything irresponsible out on the road. You know, not trying to be a killjoy. You guys ride your bikes the way you want to do. But I'm middle-aged, and I don't know. I guess I've just wised up. But at 20, you know, what have you learned in life? But again, I can feel this bike kind of setting me up for the next level. And if you're looking for a bike to more or less, you know, mature on, to grow your skills on, man, I don't care if you're a beginner, intermediate rider, you know, this is the bike, because it's mild enough that you can learn on it, but it's fast enough that it's still exciting. You know, the Ninja 650 is a cool bike. You know, I like it, but you know, this bike's just on a different level. It feels more premium. I love the technology on it, and I can ride it harder. You know, you're somebody that like to get out, like me, get out and have a you know, a fun ride. You know, push the boundaries a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Oh man, this is the perfect bike. Now, it's not the bike to road race with, if that's your thing. You're just not gonna have enough top end for that. I've heard some people say that the mid-range on this bike is kind of flat, and it is true. You know, that was this one time that you know, I know a fella who was going to his 30th class reunion, you know, and he had like an Aprilia RS 660. And so, man, on his way to his 30th class reunion, you know, he said that a Scat Pack just blew by him, man. And so he was like, man, what the heck? There ain't no car gonna pass me. And so this dude was like, he catch up with the Scat Pack, you know, and he passed him. Said he was down in the tuck like Rossi. So he passed the Scat Pack, and he looked back at the dude like, what's up? Alright. So the Scat Pack pulls up in the next lane beside him, and he get back down in the tuck, get on it, they take off, and he's like, I got him. And he looked up and he didn't see nothing but tail lights. So the moral of the story is, RS 660 is a great bike, but it's not your road race bike, at least not with big horsepower machines. You know, there are a few cars on the road that can get it on the top end. But man, on a twisty back road, this thing is fun. You know, it reminds me a little bit of my Ninja 400 in terms of the ease of riding, but with way more horsepower. You know, it says that it has 100 horsepower, but I think it's well documented at this point that that's at the crank and not at the wheel. But still, it's easily double what the 400 is, and it still has about, I believe, about 40 horsepower on the Ninja 650. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's somewhere in that range. And the Ninja 650 is geared different, so it's real torquey. And you know, it gets up to speed really quick, but it doesn't have the top end that this bike has. I think the Ninja 650 in perfect condition tops out at about 130, and this one's about 141. And you can tell the difference. On one of my favorite roads here. My favorite bike, one of my favorite roads. Almost a perfect afternoon. Got off work a little late. Wanted to get out while more of the sun was out, but it's still good. And something else that's different about this bike versus the other bikes that I've owned. You know, the Riker is a real comfortable format. You know, obviously you don't have to put a ton of effort into driving the Riker with the 3 wheels. Can't really lean it, obviously, but you get a little bit of sensation of rolling through the curves, right? And with that backrest that I have on my Riker, yeah, man, you can do 1,000 miles a day on that thing and just be in heaven, right? So that's easily the most comfortable bike-like machine that I've been on or owned. But in terms of sport bikes, man, I can ride this Aprilia way farther and longer than I could that Ninja 400, right? And way farther than I can the 650. And I thought I was gonna keep the Ninja 650 to be my touring bike. Nope, but not so. I think what's gonna happen is I'm probably gonna keep that 650 maybe about another year, and then I'll be selling it, or possibly, you know, just trading it on a cruiser. And I think I'm gonna get rid of the Riker because this bike is good enough to do everything that I want. The Kawasaki was basically a backup plan, you know. I love the ride, and I've heard some horror stories about having to wait on parts for the Aprilia. And then the closest dealership to me is literally like 6 hours away, all right? So because I like the ride and I don't want to be down a bike, and if I'm being honest with you, the other reason I got the 650 was because I was a little scared to get this bike, just because of the hassle with taking it that far to the dealership and the uncertainty about when parts would come in, right? Parts availability. But like I say, within a year I get rid of the 650 because I can't really justify having 2 bikes with the same class engine that are really that similar to each other. So I'll keep this and buy something else, either a cruiser or a real high-end sport bike, a leader bike. But yeah, man, if you're in the market for a beginner to intermediate bike and you're willing to put up with some of the risk of owning a brand like this without a lot of dealer support, you can't beat this. You know, I'm 48, and everybody's telling me it's supposed to be on a cruiser, and I can ride this bike all day long. All day long. Now I wish there was some way to put some pegs up front, you know, some like travel pegs, because this joker does have cruise control, so man, you can just sit back, stretch your legs out, and you got no reason not to be able to travel on this bike. About the only limiting factor is the fuel tank range. It's just not a big enough fuel tank not to have to stop somewhere between 100 and 25 or 50 miles, just depending on, you know, how much you're dogging it. Yep. So, just a quick review on the Aprilia RS 660. Basically, this is my most of mine. Let's see how many miles I got on it. I think I'm right at about, yeah, I just broke 1,000 miles. So I can officially say that this is my first 1,000 mile review. Alright, now let me shut up now and let me get my ride on. I love downforce on this bike. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there you go. Oh, false neutral. Okay. Try to do me in, Aprilia. Try to do me in. I ought to go get him.